Welcome to the Farming Without the Bank podcast, the show with a no BS approach to money, hosted by a farm strategy expert and authorized IBC practitioner. Join us as we get real and expose the flaws of traditional financial institutions in order to help farmers take control of their finances, create peace of mind, grow their wealth, and leave a legacy. Now, here's your host, Mary Jo Irmen.
Hello and welcome to today's podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in yet again. We had another request to do a podcast on mindset. Now, I thought for sure that I have already done this, but apparently I have not. I couldn't find a podcast that I did it on. So if it is repetitive, I am sorry, but you probably need to hear it again, right? We can never hear things too many times, just like listening to my book more than once, reading my book more than once, reading Becoming Your Own Banker more than once. All of those things are important to do more than one time. So this is probably right up there with that. Now, I do a fair amount of studying on the infinite banking concept, life insurance, those sort of things. A fair amount. The majority of my time is spent on mindset for me personally. Figuring out what to do for business. Just growing the business, growing as a person, figuring out how I can help you guys better. There are things that always need to be learned on the infinite banking side, and always things that I'm learning from colleagues. However, it is very interesting when we look at somebody that's a negative Nelly versus that person that's always positive. Positive Polly, let's call her. I'm not very good at rhyming, but, that's as good as I get, guys. That's as good as it gets. So when we look, and most farmers, most business people, are in a position where, oh my God, it's not going to rain. Oh, we are going to have a drought. It's going to be terrible. Oh, we've got too much rain. Oh my gosh. Now what are we going to do because we have too much rain? Oh, have you heard how the price of everything has gone up? We cannot afford this. We cannot keep going. That, my friends, is a scarcity mindset. What you believe is going to happen is going to happen. This is a mindset that we have got to get over. And I have fought this type of mindset my entire life. I was raised in an environment where my mom is kind of a worrywart, right? Because it's a thing moms do. And my dad is always very positive of, we'll just do this. If we can't do this, we'll do that. He is the guy that's always finding a way around things. That is normal for me by nature. Don't tell me no. However, this negative mindset of we're never going to have enough money to buy a new tractor. We're never going to make enough money to get away from the bank. Farming without the bank is a scam, even though I didn't look at anything. That's the negative Nellies out there. That's the negative mindset that all the big farmers are buying everything. We're never going to be able to start. Yet, I see people all the time that start from scratch, that had nothing, that are first-generation farmers. And I don't believe in this whole, all you have to do is think about money coming to you and it's going to come to you. No. You have to remain positive, and then you have to do things. So typically, if we have a negative mindset, we're not doing anything either, except sitting around, whining, moaning, and crying about what we don't have. So if we focus on what we don't have, it is a proven fact that our mind cannot be negative and positive at the same time. So if you are thinking about negative, you are never going to find a solution to the very problem that you are complaining about. Now, I know that there are people out there that are probably much sweeter about this than I am. And they want to empathize with you and say, oh, well, that's too bad that you're in that situation. And I may not be your cup of tea on this subject. Let's just be honest. It's just not who I am. If there is one thing that irritates me, it is when something bad happens and people say to me, oh, I'm sorry. What? What are you sorry for? You didn't even do it. If I'm just venting and complaining a little myself, because let's be honest, we all do it. I don't hang out there for years on end. But if something crappy happened and somebody says, oh, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Now I am more irritated that you apologized for something you didn't do that is not even going to fix my problem. I would much rather you say, well, you know, Mary Jo, if you would have done this, that would have fixed the problem, right? Because most people say men need to listen more and shut up and quit providing solutions to women, when in fact, I'm sort of the man always providing the solutions. So yes, I annoy people just like men annoy women because they're always providing solutions that the woman doesn't ask for. Yeah, I'm that person because I want to fix it. I want to fix everything. I just want to make it better. So I'm not that soft person that's going to say, oh, I'm sorry that you went through that and I'm sorry that you're having a hard time. My response is pull your boots up. Let's figure out how to fix it so that we can move forward. That is the abundance mindset. Being grateful for what we have today. Being grateful that, you know what, it's dry, but we always have the possibility for rain. It's dry, but thank goodness technology has provided a seed that can tolerate more drought than it could in the 30s. Thank goodness that the bank has allowed us a little extra time to pay back that loan. Thank goodness I have a policy loan through my infinite banking policy so that I have the flexibility to pay it back when I want. The abundance mindset is always looking at the positive, always looking for a solution. Many, many people are sitting in this scarcity mindset of I'm never going to have, I can't. It won't happen. If you look at wealthy, successful people, they all think differently. They are usually a problem solver. They usually have an abundance thought process that it's all going to work out. It probably happened for a reason. I'm going to find the positive in that. And if any of you listen to podcasts, The Shark Farmer does a lot of podcasts on abundance mindset because most of his podcasts, or if not all of them, are positive. I don't actually listen to his podcast, but I see his stuff come through and I've listened to a couple of them. And he always interviews people that have come from the lowest of lows and made it the best possible situation. That is abundance. Those people don't get there because they think, oh no, I can't do it. I have a friend, Carrie Portal, that was hit in a head-on car accident. She couldn't walk. She is now, and I follow her on Facebook. I've not got to meet her in person yet. She does a lot of speaking on this and how tragic it was and the amount of surgeries she goes through. And right now, following her on Facebook, she is wheelchair bound and she is in her 40s. And most people would say, oh my gosh, that's awful. You can't even wear regular shoes. You have to have a zipper on everything. And she walked. She was walking when they told her she wasn't going to walk. Do you think that's a scarcity mindset? No, that's an abundance mindset, being thankful that she's even alive. Being thankful that we have land to farm. Being thankful we can get up every day and go farm. We get to choose our thoughts. We get to. Nobody else gets to choose those thoughts for us. This is something that I am constantly working on Because when I listen to people that teach about this stuff, it challenges me to think differently. And let me just give you an example. My accountant, he said, well, you're not going to make as much in 2021 as you made in 2020. I said, well, what do you mean? Why wouldn't I? Well, you had a couple of big cases in 2020. So I had a couple people that, had a lot of money. And so I said, so I have those in 2021 too. What do you mean? Oh, okay, you do. What did he do? He planted the seed of doubt, scarcity in my head. And I'm like, you know what? I hadn't even thought about that. Had not even crossed my mind. I just assumed I would make as much or more because every single year I do better. Every single year we're getting the message out more and more and more, and we get to help more people, and more people are referring people. So of course we're going to make as much. It didn't even cross my mind, but the little turkey planted that in my head, and I now have had to be fighting that myself. Saying, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I didn't even think about it before because it's not where my brain goes. But it tells me a lot about my accountant that's where his brain goes, and I should probably find a new accountant. I can tell you the majority of my clients, 99.9% of my clients do not have a scarcity mindset. Do not. The majority of my clients have an abundance mindset. And if you have a scarcity mindset, I might tolerate it for a few moments. But if we keep going down that path, I'm calling your bluff. I'm calling you out on it because you're choosing not to help yourself. You're choosing not to market your grain. You're choosing to play victim. That's not what successful people do. Here's another thing, that if we want abundance, are we thinking out 20, 30 years, a generation, 2 generations longer? Somebody that has an abundance mindset around their family and their finances, just as my client said that suggested this podcast, they are thinking for generations. They are not thinking 12 months at a time, and they are not selfish. And I'm not calling you selfish. But if we're only thinking 12 months, we're not caring about what's happening to the next generation, right? We are thinking like the accountant who has the scarcity mindset, who is saying, okay, this is what you need to do for you. So not selfish in a negative way, selfish in a, hey, I don't want to pay taxes way. And I've come across these people that say, well, I don't really care what happens to the next generation. Then let me ask you this. Why do you get up every single day to build your operation? Why don't you just let it go today? Just let it go. What's the point? I don't come to work every day so I can watch my business go down the drain. I come to work every day with hopes that I get to pass it off to somebody someday. If it's not my child, it'll be somebody else's child. But I'm thinking long term because I think big. Abundance. After meetings, I've had meetings and talked about this with people. And I've had people ask me, Mary Jo, what's the difference between scarcity and abundance? Because they've never heard that before. So obviously I needed to do this podcast. But there is a lot of stuff out there that just talks about mindset. And let me tell you, if your spouse is opposite of you, if you are the big thinker and your spouse is so scared to do absolutely anything, that is going to hold you back. It just is going to. There's no question. We can be successful being married to somebody that is completely opposite of us. We can, but it's going to be a struggle. And somebody's going to have to back away from it and just say, okay, I'll let you go. I'll let you do what you want. And I see those couples all the time. One is scared to take that next step. So the other one just says, okay, I'm just going to pray to God that this works. Because I don't like this risk. It's scary. And then you have those couples where they're both on the same page and watch them go. It's no different in a partnership. If one partner, and I see this a lot, right? Dad has the scarcity mindset. The kids have the abundance mindset because they're young and they're excited and they want to try new things and they're learning new stuff, and dad has shut down. We see this a lot with people that are in their 70s and 80s because they came through the 30s and they still think that there's not going to be enough money. There is a reality, and then there is a reality that we create. We can create the reality of having enough, and we can create the reality that we're never going to get ahead and we're never going to have enough. I don't know that I have much more to add on that because I can kind of end up in circles. But there are tons of podcasts of people talking about these things. And the one that I listen to the most, and he's got a lot of stuff mixed in with it, but the Mind Your Business podcast is the one that I listen to the most with James Wedmore. Now, he does a lot of like business stuff of how to sell things, which I don't listen to that part of it because I don't use any of his marketing stuff. But if you are looking for mindset, he might be a little too woo-woo for some people. And sometimes he's a bit out there. But for the most part, what he talks about with working on our thought process and really challenging what we've been led to believe is great. If you don't like it, then stop listening. I mean, that's why podcasts are awesome, because we have the ability to do that, right? So no need to really continue listening, but he really does have a lot of good podcasts. And if you're a business owner, he even has a lot of good podcasts on just how to hire people and how to delegate work and how to run your business. And we get to take what we want and leave what we don't. There's a lot of stuff that I leave and there's a lot of stuff that I take. But I really do like that one more than most that I've listened to. But I listen to a lot of podcasts and I listen to a lot of successful people, and they're all pretty much the same. Tony Robbins talks a lot about it. I just can't stand Tony Robbins because I can't stand motivational speakers. Oh, it drives me nuts. Here, I'm going to get you all pepped up, and then I'm not going to give you any tools to make the difference. I want the solution to the problem. I don't want to be pep talked, right? This isn't what were those things called? Pepper rally. Remember in high school? And they don't do them anymore, I don't think. But remember, when I was in high school, we had a pepper rally. Got everybody all pepped up before the game. And we were all excited to go to the game that night. Woohoo, our team's going to win. Okay, good. Now you go home and you go to these big seminars and you get all pepped up, and then you go home and you do nothing about it. If you're going to go to a farm conference, you want solutions. We want information we can go home and utilize right away to make a difference in our operation. So I am not real big on motivational speakers. In fact, I don't listen to any of them. If I don't get things that I can use, I'm done. Not something I want to listen to. So there's a difference between motivation and there's a difference between scarcity and abundance mindset, right? The abundance mindset is, okay, I'm going to implement these things and I'm going to think positive and I'm going to implement things to make those changes. Pep talks are just, woohoo, you're awesome, fantastic, good for you. Good for you that you got up today. I'm not that girl. I can't listen to that stuff because I want to know what steps I need to take to fix the problem. So now you guys know a little bit more about me. You have one of my pet peeves. Don't tell me that you're sorry. Oh, don't say I'm sorry. Okay, if my husband dies, I'm happy to hear, Mary Jo, I'm sorry. I will be happy to hear that. If I lose my mom or dad or sibling, somebody close to me, okay, that's a whole different situation. But, if I get in an accident and somebody hits me, I'm sorry that happened to you. That doesn't even make sense in my little brain. The other little pet peeve I have is when people call me Mary. So if we have a conversation, call me Mary Jo, and don't call me Mary and think that that's going to be funny because you don't like being called Mary, so I'm going to call you Mary. Yeah, you're not the first one to do it. Not that funny. There are enough Marys in the world. Let's go with Mary Jo. And it's funny when I call people and I say, hi, this is Mary Jo. And they say, hi, Mary. Hi, Mary? I said Mary Jo. Why would we shorten that? I'm not sure. It doesn't happen often that people call me Mary. In fact, it happens very rarely. But when they do, I'm like, oh, it's Mary Jo. And guess what? You never forget. Because I probably do it with a little bit of attitude. Can you please call me Mary Jo? Because that's what I said. I know. I already know which one of my clients are going to email me and say, hey, Mary, I already know. So I know who you are. It's not going to be funny. It will be funny, but because I get teased about it all the time. Okay, you guys, I know that helped. It's challenging and keep working on it. It is a daily fight to stay in the abundance mindset, an absolute daily fight. And we get to make that conscious choice if we want to stay there or not. We get to make that choice if we want to plan out 10, 20, 30 years from now. We get to make that choice. And if you do not think that your farm is going to be in operation in 10, 20, 30 years from now, it's not going to be because you're not doing the things to make sure that it is. If you have a topic and you want me to cover it, please let me know. MaryJo@withoutthebank.com. If you have not gotten the new book, Life Without the Bank, please go to farmingwithoutthebank.com, grab that book and read it. If you haven't got Farming Without the Bank and Becoming Your Own Banker, the question is always why. This is your first podcast, I'll let it slide. If this is your 80th podcast, I'm not going to let it slide. Grab the book. Both of them are on audio. There's no reason not to have it. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Farming Without the Bank podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired you to take control of your finances in new ways. Don't forget to check out our website, farmingwithoutthebank.com, and engage with us on our Facebook page, Farming Without the Bank. Join us next week as we smash more financial myths and empower you to accomplish your financial goals.